Okay, lovely people, in this video I wanted to show you how these posh freeze-dried meals weigh more than these and why you should consider this food for overnight, one night backpacking or wild camping stays. So why have I bothered making this video when we could just go out and get some lovely freeze-dried meals? Well, to be honest, they're expensive and not widely available, and once you've bought them, you take them on the trip. Sometimes they're not always as you'd expect them to be. No spice, not really a curry, not really chickeny, just like savoury rice from a washing up bowl. In this video I'm going to state the argument for cost, kilocalories that you get from them, taste, and crucially the weight. So firstly, let's pitch in on price. Freeze-dried meals typically cost around £6 to £7, can go up to £8 or £9. The Wayfarer wet pouch meals generally cost around £4.50, but these tin style things typically are around £1.50. And I went round my local Sainsburys really and had a look at the choice, and the choice is massive of this type of thing. There's a lot of things in plastic packaging, tuna things, and there's an enormous choice. And the good thing about the price of these is you can afford to experiment at home a little bit before you take them on a camp. So in the price war for £1.50, absolutely fantastic. So what about taste? It's a personal thing. These Sainsbury's chicken belties are absolutely fabulous. I've had some Marks and Spencer's curries before, which are really good, but at the same time some of the dehydrated meals are really good. This Expedition Foods Thai green chicken curry I had a few weeks ago on a wild camp was absolutely superb, and I really love these Wayfarer spicy sausage pastas. They're really good. So that's a kind of personal preference really, but my argument would be that you can experiment a little bit more and there's a much greater range available of this type of food. So let's have a little look at the calories that you can get, because let's face it, when we've had a hard day's hiking, we've put the tent up, we want a good bit of fodder. I'm looking after a hard day's hiking for around 1,000 calories. So what are we getting? So let's start with a couple of breakfast offerings here. The wet food, the Wayfarer breakfast will get 381 kilocalories. This Hunger Breaks will get 442. What about some main meal options? Well, the fire pot here gives 510 calories. The spicy sausage pasta 381, and the chili 520. So these are a match on calories, with the Wayfarer around 25% behind. I know what you're saying, who just wants to eat tin chili on its own? But if you add a nice bit of pita bread in there, that weighs 60 grams and you get 142 calories from that, and costs around 20 pence. So two of them will be 120 calories. That would be an extra 120 grams, I beg your pardon. That would add an extra 282 calories. So from this I would get 900 kilocalories from that meal. Now I still hear you cry, Dave, you're being ridiculous. We know that this only weighs 135 grams, this one only weighs 125 grams. These weigh around 400 grams. Obviously this is much heavier, but this is the crucial thing. With all of these freeze-dried meals, you've got to add the water. Now again, I hear what you're saying. If you were going into a wild camp situation, you might have fresh water on site, fantastic, but generally you're going to have to filter it. So for a one-night camp, you're going to have to carry something like the Sawyer mini filter, and this altogether weighs 100 grams. But for the most part, we're going to have to carry the water in if there isn't a filterable source of water. Now, this meal requires, just look at my table here, 350 milliliters of water, and 350 milliliters of water plus this weighs 510 grams. This weighs less, about the same with the pita bread, but much more calories. And this adventure food one weighs needs 440 milliliters of water, which makes it in total 590 grams, heavier than this. The argument falls apart on multi-night wild camps. It's freeze-dried meals all the way on the second night and beyond, because you will have definitely have had to filter water or find a fresh source. But for me right now, it's a one night winner. Now you may argue that the tin's heavy, but I've actually compared these. So this empty packet weighs 20 grams and the tin weighs 448 grams. Now, there's not really much different in it, and you could argue that when you can recycle this is perhaps more the environmentally friendly option. Now, what about heating the thing? Okay, I know using a tin, you're going to have to put it in a pan. You've got mess, but if you've got some sphagnum moss and some grass, you can get that clean pretty quickly. You might need a little bit of water to rinse it down. So, did I mention forget cooking tin food in one of these? You'll just weld it to the bottom. Maybe it's a bit of a wider pan, you can get a little bit of a stir on. And certainly what I'm going to do now on some future trips, I think next weekend I'm away with some friends into wildest Northumberland, and we've got 3 QE Storm Stars on that camp, so that'll be fun. What I'm going to do is use some of my old empty packets, and I'm going to empty these Bombay style potatoes and this chicken balti into it, and that's going to be an absolute 1,000 calorie feast. It's going to be great for only £3. I'll definitely still keep using these and buying them occasionally, especially when it's two-nighter, but that's going to give me a little bit more choice. So I hope that's giving you food for thought, literally, and let me know below what your gourmet little specialities are. Thanks very much for watching.